goes, the red light.
So thanks for coming today. As you know, we're here for the Citizens League's interview of the District 9 County Council candidates, and this is part of our voter education program. What we do is post information on our website, thecitizensleague.org, and there are basically three components to that education, or that information. One is the candidate biographical background, the other is the questionnaire response, and then now the third is going to be a link to this video. And all that's done obviously for the purposes of educating the voters, giving them as much information as we can in a nonpartisan fashion to help them make their decision in May. So with that, what we'll do is give you a few minutes to introduce yourself and introduce your campaign, and then we'll have questions. And while we all have kind of issues in mind that we like to talk to the candidates about, they're not scripted. We kind of just have sort of a conversation afterwards, and we'll go until looks like we'll have 20 to 25 minutes before the next candidate arrives. So with that, I'll turn it over to you and let you introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. My name is Shontel Brown. I am currently a councilwoman in Warrensville Heights and also a small business owner. Both my professional and political background has prepared me to be the leader that is needed at the County Council District 9 seat. Just to give you a little bit of history as to how I ended up here, if I would have been told 4 years ago I'd be sitting before this panel to discuss a campaign or running a race for County Council District 9, I would have said, you have no idea what you're talking about. But in 2010, the idea was introduced to me because I am a person that is committed to service. I'm an active youth ministry leader at my church, as well as a women's ministry leader and a sound ministry member. And someone suggested to me that I should look at when our school board seats would be up for election, or even our city council seats. And I said, I'm not interested in politics, so I didn't even give it much of a second thought. Well, we fast forward to 2011, and I got wind that a good friend of mine, who is Mayor Sellers, was going to run for, Mayor Sellers was going to run for mayor of Warrensville Heights. And so when he shared that with me, that seat that was planted the prior year resurfaced, and I said, well, what do you think about me running for city council in Warrensville? And he paused for a moment and he said, I think it would be great. I know you'd be good at it, but nobody knows your name, so you're going to have to get out there and work really hard and pound the pavement. And I said, when have you known me to be afraid of hard work? So I did exactly as he said, and I went to a city council meeting and I presented the question, which I'm the youngest homeowner in my street, and I'm surrounded by senior citizens and retirees. And I presented the question, the earthquakes in Japan tragedy had struck, and I said, do we have an evacuation plan? What is it? If so, can you share that with me? Because I'm surrounded by seniors and I'd like to be able to get them to a place of safety. Well, everybody kind of paused for a moment and no one really had an answer for me at that time. Since then, a plan has been put in place. Nonetheless, I continued to go to the city council meetings, and I saw that the current representation at the time really didn't say much, and so I thought there might be a need there. And with the support and encouragement of Mayor Sellers Brad Sellers at the time, I started going door to door, and I started pounding the pavement. And as I was meeting with my neighbors at the time, constituents now, they presented questions of, Shontel, the sewer has not been cleaned, this tree branch has been hanging since last year, what can you do about that? Well, because I have been cultivating the relationships with the existing staff, they've given me their business cards and they said, reach out to me if you need some help while you're out there. Well, I presented some of the concerns of the residents and they were responsive. So word traveled fast. And we'll fast forward to election day. So election day comes, the polls close, I'm down by 6 votes. I thought I'd lost. And in all honesty, being a child of faith, I really was okay with that. I said, you know what, I gave it my best, and little did I know, I only had a 10% chance of beating an incumbent anyway. So 6 votes, I'm like, hey, I did good, I'm okay with that. So, but the more politically astute people said, you know what, it's not over. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Let bygones be bygones. They're like, you should demand a recount. I'm like, I'm okay. But the provisional ballots had not been counted. And once the provisional ballots had been counted, I ended up winning by 7. And again, I'm not sure if you're children of faith, but being a child of faith, 7 represents perfection, completion, and God. So I said if I was going to receive it on the losing end, I definitely had to receive it on the winning side. So as a result, like I said, I started building relationships, so I was able to get in there and hit the ground running. And I was very happy to serve my residents. But what I learned is that there's only so much we can do with the budgets we've been given at the city level. So before I even decided to enter the race for county council, I sought the counsel again of a trusted friend, Brad Sellers, the mayor at the time. And I sought the counsel of our Congresswoman, Marcia Fudge, and I prayed with my pastor, who's the president of the United Pastors in Mission, and I said to them, what do you think about me going out here and going for the seat that Council President Connolly has decided not to receive re-election? The support was overwhelming, the encouragement was overwhelming, and they've also given me their endorsement. So here I sit before you, happily as a proud candidate, and I feel like the leading candidate, as I've also earned the endorsement of the current seat holder, Council President Connolly. I've been attending the meetings just to get familiarized with what's going on there. So I want to hit the ground running when I am elected, so there's not a time frame to get acclimated to the personalities or the issues or the processes or things of that nature. So I've just been working really hard. So that in the nutshell is what I've been doing. And then if I might add one more caveat is with my campaign literature, what you'll usually find is that most literature is just simply about the candidate. But what I've incorporated is a new centralized hotline number that the county has just started to promote. It's called the Senior Hotline. And this is an effort to give senior citizens one centralized hotline where they can call about different services that the county has to offer. Because what I've found since campaigning is that the county has several programs, services that people don't know about. So I want to be able to help promote the services and also increase the access to those services. So that's my story. So I don't know. I guess did that feel 5 minutes? Is that 5 minutes?
You did very well.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
What because District 9 covers so many different municipalities, 3 wards in Cleveland, and it's not just the number of areas, but also the character. It's a very diverse
Yes, it is.
region. What do you think the issues are that kind of cross municipal boundaries and that unite and challenge each of the different areas within the district?
By far, the most challenging issue for all of the communities in the district is the state cutting our funds. Everyone has to deal with doing more with less, and so providing services or getting services that don't overlap and maybe making a little bit more sense of things maybe like a dispatch center that services the communities more efficiently. That's just something that would make more sense, because if you look at the district, you've got Bedford Heights that borders Warrensville Heights. Now, if Warrensville is closer to the Bedford Heights call, why wouldn't we send the Warrensville